Welcome to HATV. I'm Scott Laird. You know, here at Hallelujah Acres, of course, we promote the Hallelujah diet. But diet is not everything. There are other aspects in your life that you need to take care of as well, or they can compromise what you're trying to do with healthy eating. No one knows that better than Hallelujah Acres founder, Reverend George Malkmus. Here's his story.
It's been an exciting journey. It's over 20 years since the journey began. And 1976, I was pastoring a very successful church in upstate New York that had grown from just my family of 6 members to 600 in 6 years. And I was under a lot of stress then, and I'm not sure whether that was the primary cause of my cancer or whether it was the diet, horrible diet I'd been on all those years. But anyway, I had this diagnosis of cancer, and I had just lost my mom to colon cancer just prior to that, not wanting to go the medical route because of the horrible experience my mother had going the medical route with their modalities. I went looking for an alternative, and in my search I turned to an evangelist in Texas by the name of Lester Roloff, who encouraged me, rather than going the doctor route, to change what I ate from the standard American meat-based sugar dessert cooked food diet that I'd been on for the previous 42 years to the diet God gave Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. Almost immediately after making the diet change, I started to get well. Within less than a year, my baseball-sized tumor had vanished and I was totally well. And boy, I was so excited because I thought I had learned the secret to physical problems. And as a result of that dietary change and personal experience, and I won't go through all of the details that followed, but God used that cancer to birth a ministry called Hallelujah Acres. And so when I started Hallelujah Acres back in 1992, I just thought that that diet that I had gotten on and had healed me of cancer was the diet everybody ought to get on and would heal everybody of any of the physical problems they have. And I got so excited about sharing this health message that I really started pushing myself to get this message out. I can remember back in those early days, I did 16 seminars in 17 days, different motel every night, you know, on the road and pushing. But I thought, man alive, this diet will protect me from whatever. I had no concern for stress. I had no inkling of what stress could do. And so 19 brings us up to 2001. And I had just been to South Africa. I had done 7 seminars in 6 days to an average crowd of 600, was in the air 53 hours that week. And I came home and I was up on the platform at Hallelujah Acres in health minister training. And I started repeating myself. And my son Paul came up to me, and I don't remember the day at all. I wasn't there. He said, "Dad, are you okay?" And I apparently told him I was and continued to repeat myself. And we had a medical doctor going through health minister training in that session. He went up to Paul and he said, "Paul, we got to get your dad off the platform. I think he's having a stroke." And they took me to the local hospital here in Shelby, diagnosed me with a hemorrhagic bleed on the brain, immediately wanted to introduce drugs intravenously into my body and to airlift me to Charlotte to cauterize the bleed. The only problem was they needed permission. And I'm told they turned to me and said, "Dr. Malkmus, do you realize you've had a stroke?" And my response was, "Really?" And they gave up on me real quick. And they turned to Rhonda. And Rhonda knew I hadn't had a drug in my body in 25 years, and she was afraid the drugs would kill me. And so she refused any medical treatments. The doctor hit the roof. He said, "If you don't allow us to treat your husband, he'll be dead in 24 hours. Rhonda continued to say no. That took guts, by the way. And the doctor immediately wanted me out of the hospital. By ambulance, took me to my home. By stretcher, put me in my bed. And she had to sign a slip that I arrived home alive. That night, my family, 4 children, their spouses, 17 grandkids, 7 great-grandkids, they're in the living room. Poor old Dad, he's in the bedroom in his underwear. I come prancing out into the living room in my underwear to join the party. They said I kept them in stitches. They said they'd never laughed so much in their life. And my oldest daughter was heard to say, I don't know who this guy is, but I like him, he can stay. Well, anyway, Rhonda put me to bed that night, and all she could think of, the doctor's words, he'll be dead in 24 hours. And she said several times during the night she came down to check on me and I was still alive. And she said when she finally came down in the morning, she was almost afraid to look in the room because the doctor had really programmed her that I'd be dead by morning without treatment. And when she did look in, covers were rising and falling. She fell on her knees and thanked the Lord. She immediately put me on the Howley Acres recovery diet. And that's a juice or a barley max every hour for 12 hours. And my mind started to come back. Between morning and noon, she said she could see it recovering, and between noon and evening, recovering more. And within a week, she took me to a neurologist who had my hospital report in front of him and me in front of him. And he looked at the report and talked to me a little bit and looked at the report, and he said, "You're a miracle." He said, most people with this type of stroke, half of them die. And he said the remaining percentage are usually left with lingering physical or mental limitations, and at 1 week I had no limitations. And so the Howley diet not only cured my cancer, but also was very instrumental in helping me recover from my cancer. But the lesson was this: the body, no matter how good we nourish it, we need to be careful not to overstress it, because stress can cause a multitude of physical problems. And so it was a big lesson for me to learn that, yes, I can control my physical body, but my mental state has to have a little help in not allowing my body to go into such stressful situations. Number one, I said, I'm not going to go overseas again. I'm not going to do seven seminars in 6 days and fly 53 hours in a week. In fact, I stopped flying altogether. I found I'm a white knuckle flyer. I don't know if you know what I mean, but I never felt comfortable in an airplane. And so I said, I can remove the stress by removing flying. The next thing I did, I said, I'm going to cut down on the number or frequency of my seminars. So in other words, I started cutting back, but I didn't stop. And that's what I've been doing now for 11 years, cutting back. But I'm only a little over a year from my 80th birthday. And I'm still strong. I'm still, as far as I know, healthy. I can still do a 2.5-hour seminar, a 3-hour seminar with incredible energy. And that's what I'm doing here for my next year. And then I'm going to reevaluate when I hit my 80th birthday as to how much stress I want to allow my body to continue being under. Well, when you feel that you're incapable of comfortably doing all that you want to do or maybe even need to do, I think it's time to reevaluate the schedule, the pressures, how much you're going to allow yourself to do, especially as the senior years come along. And I think I'm reaching that stage in my life. But a little stress is good, I believe, for you. But too much stress, I believe, can be dangerous.
So take it from Reverend Malkmus. Balance with the Hallelujah Diet is the key. For HATV, I'm Scott Laird.